Hi, this is Ed. Welcome to the Outer Light channel. Before I go on, I'd like to thank my patrons for your continued support over my channel and just really helping to keep it going. So thank you very much. And I will have another patron video coming tomorrow, but I'll keep you updated with that. So let's have a look at this interesting case here of something strange happened to this individual. This individual was called Ryan Singleton. He was a 24-year-old man who was found without his organs in his body, without his eyes, without his liver, without any of the characteristics that you would attribute to animals, such as if due to facial scarring and things like that. If it was birds, you'd expect to see those around the eye sockets. A lot of these very mysterious cases, you don't see that. So what caused it? Well, no one knows. But let's give a shout out to where I got this from, which was from Reddit Conspiracy. Jumping over here to Sausages the Cat, who posted this on Reddit Conspiracy. If you're familiar with Missing 411 or David Paulides' work, his numerous books on this, then you're probably familiar with this case as well, at least just the superficial view of it as mentioned. I think David Paulides mentions this work. I'm pretty sure he does. Very famous example, of course, back from 2013. I hadn't seen a lot about it until I checked there on the internet and seen it's been updated there by the Daily Mail and a number of places now, with his mother asking for explanations. So just a shout out to Sausages. A link will be placed in the comments section. Sausages the Cat. Excellent name for a I guess you would call, what do you call that? A login name or whatever they call it these days. As you can see, I'm very up on all of these names for all these technical things. So let's have a look at this here. So this Georgia model, this 24-year-old man was a model, vanishes, the body is found without organs. So he was a model from Atlanta. He took a trip to LA. While driving back to Las Vegas, his rental car breaks down in Death Valley. Highway Patrol spots him and brings him to a gas station. While waiting there for his friend, he vanishes. So this individual vanished without a trace, and when he was found by hikers, as the main narrative goes, when he was found by hikers, what happened is they found him in the desert, and he had no eyes, okay? And then when it was examined, it found that his organs had been taken out or eaten by some strange animal that doesn't display the other characteristics of normal animals. That you see like tear marks and flesh wounds and things like that, or if it's birds eating his eyes, for example. I don't mean to be so graphic, but you'd see the markings from the claws of the bird, etc., around the eye sockets and things like that, and pecking marks, which would, birds tend to leave markings, okay, and so do other animals. So, but in a number of rare cases, if you follow David Paulides' work, or things like cattle mutilations, which happen to people as well, they're called human mutilations, as a matter of fact. This could be an example of it, although I haven't seen any photos to really cross-reference the kinds of architecture of the wounds and things of that nature. But nonetheless, very interesting story here. And of course, this was confirmed. It's a confirmed story. This is a confirmed news story. It's all out there. Highway Patrol, for instance, when they spot him, the officer found that he didn't look inebriated or anything like that. Otherwise, he would have taken him probably into custody. Okay, if he was staggering along drunk, he obviously doesn't want him to get back into his car, even if he's just left him at the gas station. So his car's a distance away from the gas station. That's important to point out. So what could have happened if we're going to speculate? And I'll go into far more other details here, because there is something strange that happened to this individual called Ryan Singleton, 24-year-old man. So if we're going to speculate and look at these details, what could have happened? Well, his car was a distance away from the gas station. Remember, the Highway Patrol brought him from his broken down car to the gas station. That meant if his friend had not arrived, so he vanished. So it's possible that he was at the gas station, which is a fairly safe location, And looking into further reports on this, 11 Alive, which is the name of the TV station where this is out here, this actually done a follow-up little report on the autopsy. They were stating that this is the location of the world's tallest thermometer, and it's very hot there. As stating, they went on to say it gets up to 108 per day, and things of that nature. Also, the body was found without any evidence of trauma, blunt force trauma or anything like that. There was a slight crack to the skull, but that happened from moisture, leaving the body. Okay. So this person was about 6'4", fairly large individual, fairly probably 6'4" kind of individual. Usually, there's a large differential there from that size and someone that's like 5 feet tall. So this person could probably defend themselves. A physically a large individual, being a model, they probably worked out. I'm just stating these facts to show that it's not easy prey for someone. Now, what could have happened? Well, the heat could have gotten to this individual. To be fair, let's keep it real. And they, lack of water perhaps, although they're at the gas station, maybe they went re-looking for their car, they forgot something, they wanted to go back to their car, although that doesn't seem very plausible given the heat and conditions and the danger and walking along a road like that. You just don't know. But the real question is not so much due to the sequence of events that happened surrounding that aspect, whether he walked back to his car after the police officer left, he decided not to wait for his friend, he forgot his cell phone, he forgot his money, or whatever. The point is that at the gas station, he disappeared. He wasn't seen anymore, and his body was found, a distance away from the gas station in the desert, and that's where he was stumbled upon by the hikers who found out his organs were missing. So we'll come back to this information in a moment. I had to copy and paste some of it from this article because it really due to the functionality of the website. For instance, I'll give you an example. If you just touch on these stuff up here or accidentally click something, you might as well be in Wonderland. Okay. So the functionality wasn't there for the site to be able to do that. So I've got everything copied in here in Pasteman. This is of course attributed to the site prior. But we'll go through a couple of these things here. Before we go on, let's go to the Daily Mail article, which was updated, I believe, in May this year, May the 26th. So remember the last case I was citing back on the Georgia model? This is his mother here, but that is from 2013. So you're literally going forward another 4 years here, and now his mother is seeking answers. So let's go through these. Blow it up just a tad here for the Daily Mail. Mother still searching for answers 4 years after her son. I just like to touch on something here. If he was a mechanic, I just want to point something out. If he was a mechanic, if he was a roofer or something, if he worked on an oil rig, you wouldn't continually say in every single article, her oil rig working son. Not in every article, right? But because he's a model, it's her model son. It's kind of a bit ridiculous, actually. After her son, 24, was found dead in the Californian desert with his heart, lungs, kidney, liver, and eyes missing. Okay, so to get rid of those organs for an animal, for say, your heart is behind your rib cage. Your lungs are behind your rib cage. Okay, so those are two protected, really, organs that, would be harder to remove. So how did these get out of his body? You don't use this terminology if they just were pecked by a bird, there was like claw marks and, something had been eating and gnawing around the bones, you just say it was an animal. The only way you make these kind of comparisons, is if they're literally gone from the body and maybe there's a small opening in the stomach. It's very hard to get those organs out. Just very strange case here. Ryan Singleton, 24-year-old aspiring model and filmmaker, was found dead in the Mojave Desert in July 2013 with his organs missing. Very hot month, okay? reaching, as stated in this other video I referenced, it's on the side here actually, but that's just pure speculation, most of that. Most of the heat there it's very hot environment around there. This is through the day. Singleton left Atlanta for his road trip, Los Angeles in July, and broke down in the desert, as I reiterated there. So we've already covered this here. Joggers found the body 2 months later with his eyes and organs missing. And the actual other report, it says it's hikers, but I don't think that really makes that much difference. But it does make one specific difference, and that's people do not go jogging in the desert that far away from their homes. Okay, so if it's hikers, that explains a further distance, whereas joggers, there would be a shorter distance away from towns. Now, I'm not saying he was drastically away from, civilization here, which isn't the case. He was a short distance away from the gas station, but those kinds of little details do matter if you're looking at it, because I don't have any addresses. I haven't looked at the exact location, which I should have done. I should have pulled it up on Google Maps. We should have given it a little investigation. Looking at the distance away from the gas station, the types of terrain, how hot it was on that day, all these kinds of things you could kind of like chart out to match up to see if something, to look for patterns. A heartbroken mother is still searching for answers nearly 4 years after her son was found dead. So this is the individual here. So I guess they were getting on the road there to chasing their dream of being a model. It's the individual's mother here. Once there, he called a friend who lived 3 hours away and asked for help, his family said. 3 hours away, very large distance there. But when his friend arrived, there was no sign of Singleton, and a missing persons report was filed. 2 months before joggers came across Singleton's decomposing body, which was missing its organs, in an area that had been extensively searched by detectives and investigators. So what does that tell us? Well, usually detectives and investigators, if this was searched by detectives and investigators, then that's another hallmark of what you see in the work of David Paulides, whereas they find these bodies missing organs or missing their eyes, or up on the side of hill cliffs with then the clothes missing, miles from a location that they couldn't have traversed, then that tells you that's a similar example of that, is that these places where the people are found are usually in places where that have already been searched, but I'm not sure about if that's what they mean there. His mother, Iris Flowers, said at the time that investigators called her and said, "Ma'am, there were no eyes, there were no heart, there were no lungs, there were no liver, there were no kidneys." So his entire body had pretty much been, all these organs had been removed. How did that happen? Well, I don't know how that happened. You really have to look at the autopsy report, or you have to look at all this stuff and see what happens. There's one that speculates here to the autopsy report, but really want to see the autopsy report itself, or at least have someone decipher it. I'm only giving this a small overview. If you're interested in this, there's a lot of information out there. Have a little bit of other look into it. The San Bernardino County Coroner's Office said there was no official cause of death after the body was found, but that the body was severely decomposed. Animals might have been involved, so it's a possibility there. Not sure how that happens. Of course, in something esoteric like cattle mutilations, for example, they state that it's bugs, because they can prove anything. Very unusual here. Flowers said he wants to know what happened to his son. This is Iris Flowers, the mother, who had recently married and separated from the husband. Right. So these people seem to be, seem to be well-to-do for a guy, it looks like. The truth, the answers, the justice, the accountability of what happened to my child. Flowers explained that her son left home in Georgia to move to New York to chase his dreams of becoming a male model in 2010, but later ended up in Los Angeles to pursue film production. Pardon me. I'm glad that he did go. He took the courage and he went. He was brave. Ryan was never afraid to try anything. He was never afraid. Most things he tried, he mastered. So, very interesting here, I think, the entire case. So here we have some kind of more information here from the Daily Mail. Something bad isn't going to happen to me, isn't it? He asked his mother. She told him. So he seemed concerned, maybe something bad, or I don't know. His mother said she's unable to afford an attorney and her son's case is still open, an open death investigation in the state of California. She said that she thinks her son was killed for his organs. That's what she's saying, okay, which isn't out of the question. I mean, it could be, what if it is organ harvesting, you know? You give your blood sample to someone, they go through a database, try to find a match, they take this person out, someone's paid for it. I mean, people don't believe in this kind of stuff, but actually organ harvesting is worth billions of dollars. Look at the UN reports, look at the information out there. It's like the drug trade. I mean, they try to get organs for, you know, they get these people and they harvest their organs out. And it's just really cold and clinical, really. So this is the last seen in this location in Baker here, last seen July 2013. So last seen there. So he literally was between Las Vegas and Los Angeles there. Very interesting. So his car would have been where he was found here. I'm guessing his car would be found a little bit away there. Not very far away from his car in scales of map turns, if you're looking at the United States, that's sure. But interesting case. So I've got the same pace bin kind of things here. So his body was found 74 days later, nearly 2 miles away from the gas station without its organs. Okay, so that's a distance, and you have to ask yourself, if it was found that far away from the gas station, then he seems to have wandered off for some reason 2 miles away into the desert in the great heat from the gas station, from waiting in a safe location. It's possible. Keep it real, he might have been delirious. It's also possible someone picked him up at the gas station and said, hey, I'll take you to your car. What do you need? I'm a mechanic. You know, he's got his like hockey mask in the back there. You know, I don't mean to. I mean, it's a serious thing, but, you know, it's possible that person could have like, you know, people prey on people. It's possible that if it was real organ harvesting, for instance, that, you know, you're really tracking a subject. You know, you're looking for their weakness. You know, maybe for the last week, you've got the patient all ready to go in hospital, waiting for those organs, and you're tracking this person like prey. So they're going on a trip. Maybe you even give them the note, say, hey, you should go to Las Vegas. You know, you bump into them. Next thing they go, okay, oh, hey, I can lend you somebody to go to Las Vegas. Don't worry about it. Or LA or wherever you're going. Get in your car, here's the money, they talk you into it. They break something in your car, you know, they take the head gasket off or something, can, you know, block the flow of oil somehow, put the head gasket back on. They'll give you like maybe a couple of hours on the road before you break down. Engine overheats, car breaks down. You know, you see the sheriff, they take them to the gas station or whatever. It's very predictable kind of steps there. Meanwhile, you're at the gas station. Hey, I didn't know. I heard you're going to Las Vegas. It's me again. Jump in the car. Or take you back. We'll go get a mechanic. We'll take you to your friends down there 3 hours away. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Jump into the car. Hey, where are we going? And you've just given them like a beer or something like that to relax. And their vision starts going haywire. Hey, you're in a in a very complicated situation. You wake up on some operating table in the back of a helicopter, take your organs out, tip you out into the desert. I mean, it's sophisticated, right? You're dealing with... I don't mean to go into conspiracy land, but organ harvesting is real. It's like gold. People mining gold. They go out there and mine gold out of mountains with great machinery to get that money. You think they're not going to have the same kind of operating procedure and expenditure to get organs for people that are, billionaires or multi-millionaires, or give away all their fortune just for the organs? Come on. That's if it is organ harvesting. Could totally be predators. Could totally be that. How would I know? I have no idea. So most of this just reiterates what was said in the Daily Mail. At the time she was worrying. So Ryan eventually decided to leave his production team in Los Angeles and headed back to New York. He married a celebrity stylist. Okay. So this is married a celebrity stylist, very famous. I mean, they earn very good money, which is like $400 a haircut or something. I go out and cut my hair with a pair of scissors in the mirror. I have pretty long hair now. I've last few months, it's been a while. I need a haircut, and my hair's getting long, got a beard. Look like I live in the Alaskan wilderness or something. I find out on social media Ryan has gotten married to a man twice his age. Oh, I didn't know that. So I find out on social media Ryan has gotten married to a man twice his age. Okay, so it turns out, I thought, that's very interesting. Turns out that he married a man, is that it? So he was gay. I'm not sure if I'm reading that right. Not that it's, it'd probably be normal in California or etc. or in all these places, but I'd never seen that in the article before, so that's interesting. It'd be interesting knowing who this individual was. I thought I'd seen it before. I thought they were a woman. I don't know. Just 4 months later, these two separated. Ryan moved back with his mother in Georgia, who sensed something was wrong. Iris remembered the conversation she had with her son. So this is here from look in the Daily Mail there. Something bad is going to happen to me, isn't it? Ryan asked his mother. Ryan, what are you talking about? She responded. Iris asked her son if he owed money to someone, and he said no. Of course he says no. No one tells their mother, come on, yeah, I owed, $60,000 to the cartels, Mum, and I can't pay them. No one says that. Who's going to say that? You don't want to worry your mum. Of course not. I've done a lot of things to hurt a lot of people, Ryan replied. Iris said she never found out exactly what he was talking about. So what did he do? I don't know if he felt some kind of way he left the production team or married this individual and it didn't work out, and now he's at home. He knew he hurt me by disappearing and not communicating with me. Anybody outside that, I couldn't figure out who it could have been. Interesting. 2 days later, Ryan abruptly left Los Angeles again. This was the last time Iris saw her son alive. So 2 days or that week, her son had said that he's done a lot of things to hurt a lot of people and that something bad was going to happen to him. He could feel it in his bones. And then it happened. He was on literally a lone stretch of road out of some horror movie, and he actually was at the gas station, made a call to his friend 3 hours away or whatever. I think it was 3 hours, and his friend was on his way. Next thing, he vanishes without a trace, is found by joggers or hikers, depending which version you've read, and out in the desert with his eyes missing, his heart, lungs, liver missing out of his body. So something happened to him that was extremely unusual. I mean, these places have got some of the best forensic teams on Earth. They could figure out, if it was animals. Okay, all I can say is it could have been animals. Obviously, the body had been there for a number of, I think it was 2 months. That's enough time for, to degrade quite a bit. But in that dry air and things like that, then it's you'd expect the tissues to be somewhat intact if they weren't attacked by animals. Although, in most cases, you'd expect all the animals to just eaten it away to obliteration, right? That you just find like a skull floating around or something. So, very weird. Actually, you see, if you don't mean to go into tinfoil wet, we're in conspiracy land here. I know that I research a lot of stuff, okay? And I've seen in cattle mutilations, for example, when the animals are mutilated, whether they're cattle or whatever they are, whatever's causing the mutilations up for debate, I guess, for some people, what happens is other animals and predators will not touch the body. They just stay away from it. Like horses or rear up, or birds will fly out of the forest kind of thing. They just will not touch the body. It's completely untouched. So these things just sit there and bloat up. And I wonder if that was a similar scenario. Of course, I'm just wildly speculating. I have to look at the autopsy report and the bodies, I think. So yeah, just a little bit of interesting information there, I think. So, hottest place, son goes missing there. And what can you do? What is happening? Let's have a look at this little bit of the Fox News report down here as posted by Cypher Avenue. So shout out to them. Let's take a little clip here from the Fox News at 10.
1,000 miles away leaves an Atlanta family with a lot of heartbreaking questions.
Tonight, a Mapleton mother searches for answers about her son's death, including why internal organs were missing from his body. Fox 5's George Franco joining us from Control A with tonight's top story. George.
Deidre and Russ, 24-year-old Ryan Singleton left Metro Atlanta in early July to chase his dream of becoming an actor or model in Hollywood. Instead of dreams coming true, his mother is now living a nightmare, wondering about her son whose body turned up near one of the most inhospitable places on earth, Death Valley, California.
Let's just have another look at that. I'll just come back in 1 second. I've got to reroute it. Okay, so back here, let's play it again.
He went to Las Vegas during a weekend visit and got missing in Baker, California on the way back.
Iris Flowers tell me joggers discovered the body of her son, 24-year-old Ryan Singleton, September 21st in the desert near Baker, California. That's between Las Vegas and Los Angeles. She says she'll never forget the call from police.
I said, there were no organs. He said, ma'am, there were no eyes, there was no heart, there was no lungs, there was no liver, there were no kidneys.
So it's very interesting for the police to say. And it's very interesting, isn't it? Maybe they've changed their tune lately. Sometimes I do wonder, after months go by, it seems their philosophies change, or their speculations here. Of course they do, there's more evidence. But, yeah, let's keep on watching this.
San Bernardino County Coroner's Office says right now there is no cause of death. The body was severely decomposed. Animals might have been involved. The case has been sent to the Specialized Case Division because it deserves more attention than we can give it. Ms. Flower says she was told the body was mostly intact.
Because I don't know of an animal that comes to a body and just pick out certain parts of the body. I don't think this was animal activity at all.
Ms. Flower says Ryan left Atlanta in early July, traveled to L.A., then in a rented car drove to New Mexico, Arizona, and Las Vegas. She says his car was found in the Death Valley Desert a few miles from Baker. He was last seen at a gas station in Baker in July. His body discovered a month later.
There's the survey.
See, that's a strange detail, isn't it? Because I thought it was 2 months later. Now it's a month later. Something about this just doesn't add up. The details, well, I guess it might be the news reports, but they seem a bit all over the place. Maybe I'm just dyslexic and reading it wrong, but I thought this article said 2 months. Now they're saying a month here. The mother's saying that she was told it wasn't like severely damaged the body and all these things were removed. Then they say it is decomposed. Just weird stuff. And of course that probably happens with stuff like this. But let's take a look. Come on, go.
He looks picture of him being in the AM/PM store And he was found 1.5 miles or so behind the store.
Ms. Flowers says the coroner's office has released her son's remains. Now she wants to conduct an independent investigation to find out why he's dead.
The hardest part for me is not knowing, not getting any answers, and trying to get him home so we can bury him.
Ms. Flowers says a friend of her son will bring his remains back later this week. The San Bernardino County Coroner's Office in California did not give us a timeline for when their investigation will conclude.
So this is still all open at the moment. It's an open investigation. So I guess they're still on the case, so to speak. Who really knows? But go out there, have a look, decide for yourselves. Take a look into it. Maybe you'll turn up something. Maybe just find it interesting. I think it's one of the most interesting of these strange disappearances. Body found in a location that detectives had already searched, perhaps, or people had already searched, according to the Daily Mail, from reading that correctly. It's got all the hallmarks of something very mysterious. What happened? If I was going to use a speculation, I think that if it's correct and these things were removed, and like the detective said to the mother there, then it looks like organ harvesting. It looks like a case of organ harvesting. Of course, just want to comment on one thing before I go on. Let's just jump over to another thing. I tried to find an old case I came across which happened, a cardboard box was found there. And it was only like a few months ago, I think. And it had a child, an infant was found there deceased with its organs removed as well. Now, I usually comment on stuff that I can't even remember if I commented on it. But it was too sad. Some things are too sad to look into. So I didn't at the time. But I thought I would just mention it since it was connected with this. You're probably familiar with that case. If you are, maybe drop it in the comment section for other people. But in the meantime, that's about all for here. Something very strange happened to Ryan Singleton. There's no doubt about it in my mind. And we'll see what happens. Shout out to Sausages the Cat over there at Reddit. Link to the Reddit article will of course be placed in the comment section, as well as a link to the Daily Mail article and this video by Fox 5 down at Cypher Avenue there. In the meantime, this is Ed. Go and do your own research. Decide for yourselves, of course, what to believe. In the meantime, stay safe, and I'll see you all later.